Okay.
All right. Tell me a little bit about your internship.
Okay. So my name is Ariana Meacham, and this summer I worked with SSDT, which is also known as the Student Software Development Team for Berea College. And pretty much my role was as a student software engineer, and I contributed to updating campus web systems such as the CELTS and LSF website using agile development practices with teams. And this involved pair programming, debugging, and implementing features across both the front end and back end of these websites to make them more dynamic and user-centered applications. And some of the for like a brief overview of some of the things I would use, it would be like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Python. And they'd all work together that pretty much make these websites better.
All right. Describe the most important technical thing you learned during your internship and why it was important.
Mm, I think for like an overview, like the most important technical thing that I learned was how to how these four like main programs interacted with each other because at first I didn't really have a very much experience with using like multiple applications together, like using HTML, CSS, and all of these together to make like a fully developed website. Based on like previous classes, we would usually only use like Python or maybe it'd only be CSS, but seeing how they really worked together to, for example, Python forming the back end of the website and holding all of the information versus HTML being like the front end of it, it really allowed me to get a better understanding of where to look for problems within the code and be able to figure things out better. And I think that pretty much helped me a lot.
Okay. Explain what you feel most proud of that you accomplished during your internship
I think
and why are you proud of this accomplishment? Sorry.
you're cool. I think something that I feel most proud of was figuring out how to update the SQL database and how to access the SQL database. That was something that was pretty difficult for me in the beginning because it was like I don't know, there just felt like there was this barrier. I couldn't remember the get commands to get in, and then I didn't know how to access it. I feel like it was really like that was like the main essential piece that I was missing to be able to connect everything together and being able to learn how to access it as well as to manipulate the database to also be able to find specific information, such as using like queries and things of that nature. I think that really like kind of brought that was like the final step in bringing everything together because you have to use things like JavaScript to go fetch that information from the database. In our case, which was using Python. So I think, yeah, being able to access that and being able to properly use it to be able to bring in the front end, to be able to bring that information into front end, I think I was really proud of that because I struggled with it a lot.
All right. Let's go back to the first question. What was the most important non-technical thing you learned during your internship?
The most important non-technical, I would definitely say the agile development style of coding. Um, Being able to do like on here, it says that we did like daily stand-ups for progress and like weekly story points and all the nature. But pretty much my most important part of the agile development was like learning how to like properly pair program as well as doing like peer code reviews. I think doing this experience during the summer, it really taught me how to communicate specific problems better. I feel like it's easier, like I was used to like briefly or vaguely describing the issues, but when you're in pair programming, you have to be very specific about what you're looking for so that you can both be able to share that with your partner so that y'all can help each other, as well as being able to share that information with your supervisor when they try to check in with you on where you're at. So being able to like do this agile development, it got me used to becoming more specific when it came to addressing issues or like describing issues to be able to figure things out.
Right. And then for your additional question, how do you see the work that you did at this internship have an impact at a future job or class?
I think this is going to be extremely relevant, especially since I plan on being a software engineer. I think doing this internship, especially like getting experience with agile development, as we visited Red Hat, we noticed like they also use agile development. So I think I'll be doing a lot of pair programming, weekly story point assignments, and like having that big communication aspect of it, I think it's going to be extremely relevant once I have to switch over to a job that will require more of me because you have to be clear on the things that you expect and the things that like the problems that you share and the progress within them, as well as like the coding aspects. I think it was really important to gain that kind of full stack development experience so that I could properly be able to find problems and learn how to access different parts of them so that I could fix those issues. So I think that'll be really relevant, and I think it'll definitely apply once I go on to pursue software engineering because that's what I'll have to do anyway. That'll be my main job.
Period. I think that's it.
Thank you. Oh, I got shot. Let me turn off the recording.
Time was good.